Hello Facebook. I'm working on a job here where I've replaced the multifunction tool, multifunction switch on a 1999 Buick Regal, and I watched a few videos, and I think I can add a little bit to the information there that'll make it a lot easier and less of a mystery to where to find the screws and stuff. Save some people a lot of time and headache. I got my what I'm calling the new one. I got it from a U-Pull-It. First of all, when you start, there's a panel here. You pull that out. It just has a little snaps. You just kind of pry it out a little bit. I don't think there's any screws in it, and it comes right out. I took this out. It didn't really need to come out, but it pops out. It's just got the little clamp, brackets or whatever you call it, poke into these things all along there. They're in different spots and pop them out. But on that end, when you open that door, there's a screw that goes in there. You have to take that screw on that to get it out. But I don't know what you call that deal, but that's what you get out. But then when you go the next step, you want to get these two things off the top and bottom of your steering wheel. You start, there's a screw here. It's a T25 star tool that gets it out. All your screws should have yellow paint on the top of them. There's one here, or one here and one here. You take those out, it pops out with some wiggling. You'll have to pull that out. It just pulls straight out. Then when you go to pull the top one off, it's only got one tool hanging, holding it in there. And it's easy to accidentally snap it off, thinking it may just be some little snap thing holding it in. But what's holding it in is this little 4mm, looks like some kind of a star tool, but a 4mm socket will take it off. And it's right here is where you get it out. And you find it by looking straight up there under the steering wheel. The instructions on the shop manual will tell you to pull off the steering wheel, but you don't need to do it. The biggest pain about getting this off up here is that little star tool there. You have to use a T25 star tool. That's what I'm calling it anyway. And it goes in there, but you can't get to it with anything other than sticking this in there, and then either using a little 4mm wrench, I think it is, quarter inch wrench, or your 1/4 inch driver. I've got this ratchet that goes with some of my gun tools, and just turn it that way. And I saw where a guy used a vice grips to grab onto this and turn that out, and it takes several turns out. This was a headache for me. I've got big fingers, and it was a headache. Then when you get that out, you cut those draw tights loose and get it through that one strap. You get down here, and these two things are what is holding. It's the rest of your. These two things are the rest of your multifunction switch. They're connected to this thing that comes off of the other stuff up here on the steering wheel. But it's this thing right here, and they slide up. They slide up into that way. The gray one's on the bottom and the black one's on the top. But they've got a little latch right there, a little thing that sticks out there. You just take a screwdriver, a small screwdriver, and just barely turn it a little bit, and it just slides out real easy. It'll almost come out on its own, but you got to get a little space between this and that little thing. I'll try to see if you can see the little thing right there. Yeah, that thing right there. And they both slide out. Now, to get this, first to do that, you've got to get this, unscrew this 7mm nut from this deal right here that's under there. And that's a bugger to do too, but you can do it with this attached to a 7mm. You can do it with this little socket driver attached to a second 7mm socket. I use an extended socket. This one right here. I also got my my electric drill and put this on it and got it out. But I did it. I got it out a couple of times, like once from the U-Pullet and once from my car. But then when I had to remove the one that I'd pulled in and it didn't work, it was a lot more trouble. And I figured out if you're strong enough and you want to take a chance on breaking it, you can grab that thing and give it a couple of real hard twists, and it'll eventually, I hope you can see that. There's a couple of things right there that plug into the frame, right there where my thumb is. My thumb is on it. Those things plug in right there to that, and if you twist it back and forth hard enough. Oh, wait a minute. Hopefully that was wrong. Where are they at? Okay. Where's my thumb on that? Anyway, right there, that's what's there. Those plug in, you can get them loose, but it's easy to do it the other way. But now there are these two things right here. What happened? Oh. There are these two things right here. I think I had that all screwy. There are these two things right here that are holding this mechanism into that, and they're on the end of it like this. They go in the end right here in these little holes. You need to get a screwdriver in under them, and they come straight out. They're a pain. That's why I ended up pulling this loose, because I was having trouble getting the screwdriver under it. But then that's the most of your headache right there. But this part can go pretty smooth. There is one more thing about it. I got this tool off of a Buick Century. One thing I will add is definitely disconnect your battery. You don't want to get this. It'll make your horn honk when you're just removing it, and it'll also potentially set off your airbag. Then the other thing that's a real bugger about it is this thing on a Buick Century anyway is plugged into part of your, I think, your cruise control, and it's like kind of on the top of the power steering or on the top of the drive shaft. And when you disconnect it, it won't be taped up like this on the Buick Century. It's loose. But when you disconnect it, you've got to find where this thing plugs in, and you pretty much have to do the whole thing blind and just push that in and pull it out. It comes out easy, but then in order to get it back out around all the little apparatuses that are connected to it, you have to pull the wires way up this way and then put them over the top of it, and they slide out. And you do it through here, right in through here. It's right in, and all that garbage is right in there. On the Buick Century, you can see all the tools for the power tools there. Anyhow, once you do that, that's the end of the real headache, and then it's just putting it back together. I will add, when you go to your U-Pullet, make sure you get a nice click. Try to get it off of the newest model you can that matches the part you need. Because I went and did it, I got everything done, but the new part that I got, I didn't do this and hear that clicking. So since it's my daughter's car and I want her to have her high beams in case she's driving out in the country and a deer runs out, you see some deer or something or whatever, you need your high beams. I didn't check it real thoroughly to make sure everything was clicking just right. So do that before you even waste your time pulling the part. And I think I covered everything. Let me know if you have any interesting input on it. And I think I can save you some time. Oh, another really handy tool is get your wife's bathroom mirror. Do like I did. Bust out the magnifying part. So that way she'll give it to you then. And then that was helpful to reach it, see in there and see what all those tools were and everything, see how to get all that part. Because I was totally going blind in there. I had no idea what I was going to find or how to do it, other than a few YouTube videos gave me enough clues, but they didn't really give me You know, they really weren't enough to just do it without a tremendous amount of searching and pulling and pushing and manipulating around in there. But this ought to get it to where you can do it, and you know the headaches and you know the details that you're going to have to be looking for. Oh, another thing, I come across one video of a guy that said he rebuilt his on his Ford F-150. That was a pretty good deal, except the only thing about that is I bought this one used for $15.08 at the U-Pull-It. It's well worth the $15. The part from O'Reilly's was $295 for an aftermarket part, and this is the original equipment. So thank you for listening, and God bless y'all.